Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 210. Welcome again to the latest Business Finance Bulletin. With me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services, the commercial finance experts. In this bulletin, government launches consultation on how to curb late payment. MarketInvoice joins NatWest's Capital Connections panel, and use of asset-based lending jumped in 2017. In a previous bulletin, I mentioned how Philip Hammond, the Chancellor, in his spring statement, said that the government is looking at ways on how to tackle and curb late payment practices. And now this has come on the back of the collapse of Carillion, the UK's second largest construction company. And this caused all sorts of payment problems, particularly in construction. So the government really wants to now put a final end to late payment. So what actions are the government taking? Well, the government has now launched a consultation paper. It wants views from businesses and business owners on how they think the government should tackle late payment. In the consultation paper, it's suggesting one of three steps. First of all, it wants to know, should the government actually say that you cannot bid as a supplier or a subcontractor for government contracts unless you are proven to have a good payment record? Also, they want to think about, well, should all government contract suppliers be forced to advertise their subcontracting on the government's contracts finder website? That'll make sure that all small businesses get an opportunity to supply within the supply chain as regards government procurement contracts. And thirdly, it also proposing that should you have direct access to local authorities in order to report poor payment practices, essentially name and shame to the contract givers. So all that's really good stuff. So if you do want to provide input to that consultation paper, all you have to do, go to your favourite search engine, type in Gov UK consultation papers, and that'll take you straight to the gov.uk page, and therefore look for papers issued on the 10th of April. That's when this consultation paper was launched. Now also, if you do want to bid for some government contracts and you want to have a look at that contracts finder website, just go to gov.uk/contracts-finder. So interesting steps there. Let's see what comes out of that consultation paper. What do you do if your bank has said no to your finance request? Well, there's one high street bank that is really going out of its way to help business owners who the bank can't assist by signposting them to approved alternative finance providers. Now, that bank is NatWest. A few years ago, it launched its Capital Connections panel, and this is currently made up of 8 alternative providers. So if the bank manager said, I'm sorry, we can't help you, but here's a list of approved partners and they may be able to assist you. Well, NatWest has announced a 9th addition to their Capital Connections panel, and that is MarketInvoice. Now, MarketInvoice are an online invoice discounter. So if you're suffering from cash flow problems because you've got invoices out on 30, 60, 90 days, MarketInvoice via its online platform will discount that invoice, so you'll get a certain percentage upfront on day one. So now, who else are sitting on that Capital Connections panel? Well, other lenders include Assets Capital, ESME Loans, Funding Circle, iWalker, Cedars Startup Loans Together, and NatWest Social and Community Capital Fund. So there's a good breadth and spread of alternative finance providers there. Great initiative by NatWest, doing what it can to help its customers where they've said no. 2017 saw a significant jump in the usage of asset-based lending, such as invoice discounting and asset finance. That's according to the latest figures from UK Finance. Now, UK Finance are the trade body representing the vast majority of UK-based lenders, and they estimate that in 2017, via invoice discounting and asset finance, a total of £23.4 billion was advanced, and that was an increase of 5% on 2016. In terms of the number of businesses supported, they estimated 42,000 businesses accessed those types of finance. Let's break this down further. What about small businesses? Well, that increase was even more significant. Small businesses, as defined by UK Finance, is a business turning over less than £500,000 a year. Via invoice discounting and asset finance, they estimate the total amount of money lent was £833 million, which was a 19% increase on 2016. Yeah, 19%. That's a really big jump, especially when compared to the banks, where their support for small businesses is essentially flatlining according to Bank of England figures at 0 and at best 1% growth per annum. A big difference. However, that was 2017. 2018, the first quarter, is starting to look a little less exciting. According to the Finance and Leasing Association, its members reported that in the first quarter of 2018, overall advances fell by 1%, so 1% contraction. So perhaps businesses are being a little bit more cautious as we get into 2018. Well, that's it for another bulletin. As ever, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please don't forget to give it a like and a share. Thanks very much. Look forward to being with you again next time. In the meantime, have a great, successful and profitable week.